Here's my Cat 951. We painted it last fall, and I was using it to put in a driveway over here, but the weather got cold, the ground locked up, everything got muddy. As you can see, everything's frozen to the tracks. Might not be too bad today. I did roll it a few weeks ago and got some fuel in it, but you can see the ice on the tracks. Big old oil filter. I never put the side covers back on, or the track covers on this side. It's a really nice machine. It had a problem with sticking brakes, but the brakes are unstuck. Previous owner put brand new batteries in for me. Got a little overspray on them. And it's not a good idea to let stuff sit for long periods of time without running. So I'm going to give this a little start today. A lot of people will use ether when they're starting these things up. I don't like to use ether because somehow or another it seems like it kills the motor. Once you need ether, or once you start using ether, then you need it. So I'm just going to check the engine oil and turn the batteries on and give it a start. Perfectly full, no contaminants, no water or anything on it. It's good. Okay. And the antifreeze. Really tight. That should be alright. It was alright like last time it was okay, so it should be okay now. Here's the basic controls. Bucket controls. Lift, float, and bucket tilt and dump. Over here is the hydraulic oil. Back here is the fuel and your drive levers. In order to get this to drive, you have to put this up, and I painted it red so you see it. This stops you from, like, you can't get out of it unless this is down. This is a safety lever. And then once you're in that, you can change your gears, forward and reverse, and engine speed. And down here on the floor is 3 pedals. This releases the clutch and then adds a brake, and this one releases the clutch, adds a brake, and this one doesn't release the clutches, it just adds brake. And under here are the instruments, and this is what we're working with right now. Okay, I'm putting the key on. Okay, it's live, and adding a little throttle over here that you can't see. And right here is heat. This is for the glow plugs. And over here, you can't see it, but it says start. So you put it to this side to start, this side for heat. My other tractor and my truck have block heaters, and you plug them in, and the engine's nice and warm, but this doesn't. And on a machine like this, you'd either spray ether into the air cleaner and try and start it, which I don't like to do, or you can heat up the cylinders with the glow plugs, which is what this does. And because it's been in the teens, I'm going to have to hold this on for quite a while. So if you look over here, you'll see the ammeter gauge drop. See, it's pulling some serious amps. Probably almost 20 amps. And I hold it on for a while. So I did an oil change on this not long ago, and then put probably 50 hours of use on it, and it hasn't touched a drop. It leaked a little out, but not a lot to complain about, and it's just a gasket, so on a dipstick, or actually the filler tube. So it's just a small gasket with 3 holes in it, 2 for the bolts and 1 for the oil to go through. The tracks on this are good. The track springs are shot. I have these huge springs to go in here that tension the tracks and push the idlers out to keep the track tension on, and they're cracked to pieces. Each one has 3 cracks in it, so that's going to be a job pulling them off, but basically I had to stop because the weather, everything got muddy and rainy, and now it's frozen solid. So we have a warm day today, and we'll see. Down here it says above 60 degrees you don't need a heat, but 60 to 32, 1 minute. 32 to 0, 2 minutes. Below, 3 minutes. So I don't know if we're anywhere near a minute yet, but should be close. It starts up nice, so let me see what happens. Take a while for these Well, that's it. It's my little demonstration. Let's go around the machine real quick. This device over here has two hydraulic lines coming down to it and a little switch in there that operates right here. And what that does is it's a bucket leveler. When the bucket is flat on the ground, this little switch gets tripped by this rod and it stops. It throws the handle there, and I demonstrated that earlier. In case you were wondering what I was doing, I was just showing you that. The track is saggy like this because the spring inside is shot. So this idler is back a little bit. When the spring is in there when a new spring is in there, that'll be out towards the end another inch, which would stretch this track out real nice. Track's pretty good. All this dirt was frozen. It's still frozen. And it's not good to try and use the machine, but I had used it before it froze, and when it was starting to get hard, so I knew nothing was jammed. But if you freeze a machine to the ground and try to move it, you could break it for sure. This tank's full. It leaks a little bit of fluid over here. It's got to be fixed, but there's 50 gallons in there right now. And what else? Oh, these things on this cage. This one here is missing. I can't find a part number for it, but they got to be changed. I got to take this whole cage off and put them in, because this thing bangs. It goes up and down and hits. Bomb, bomb. It's horrible. It's like having your head inside a drum. And here's a good view of my paint job here. It's Run City. Put 5 gallons of paint on this thing after power washing it and sanding it. And this is just safety yellow with a little bit of red added to it to give it this orange color. And hey, for 20 bucks worth of paint and another 20 bucks worth of sandpaper, it's a crappy job, but it's not rusty. And that's important. Like I said before, the engine covers are in the shop. They'll be going on in the spring. When I work on this, clean all this up and change the springs. And it runs good. Anyway, that's it. This is a Cat 951. And what else? Oh, these lights up here. You can see them. I got them for all 4 corners. I got to figure out how to get wires down. Here's the switch, the wire former right here. That's the Caterpillar wire. And there's a light switch for them, but there's no wires going up, so I'm either going to get stick-on wires or drill out those tubes and run them through. I don't know. I'll do something. And the teeth. That's right. I bought these teeth. They were pretty cheap. They were worn out. And these are pretty much brand new. It's funny, you have to order 5 or 10, and there's 9 of them here. So, or what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So I bought 10, had 2 spare. But they only sent me 5, and then they sent me 5 again. And then because they didn't know what they were doing, they sent me 5 more. So I ended up with 15 teeth. I only need 8, so I have 7 left over. I'll figure out what to do with them. And that's it. My letters, those are boat letters left over from lettering a boat. I had enough to spell Caterpillar. Anyway, that's it for now.